Hello everyone, this is that positive Temtem guy, back at it again with some battles. These battles are with Vini Ironside. We decided to do 4v4 with swapping in between. Catch battles on my Twitch for live commentary. I love starting Rise and almost always start him. His trait, Demoralize, lowers the enemy team's speed 1 level. Vinny appears to be fond of Rise 2 and starts him as well. Both of our Rises slow the opposing team 1 stage. He decided to start with Grandpa. Grandpa is an extremely scary special attack sweeper. His first move is going to be Hypoxia, a wind special stab that I don't want Cernif to take. I'm looking at my squad for anything that can resist the Hypoxia. Calibus is a water toxic Temtem, so wind is very effective against him. He's very tanky, but not against the Grandpa. My other option is my own Grandpa, but I feel that Grandpa is my only win condition, so I need to protect him. I begrudgingly decide to let my Cernif eat the Hypoxia, and do mediocre damage to Grandpa. Just as expected, Cernif with very low special defense can't take the Hypoxia well. In a 4v4 match, the Temtem that you start with can very easily influence the outcome of a match, so it's very important that you pick a strong combination with several outs in case something like this occurs. My Rise does a little damage to the Grandpa, but I certainly wasn't expecting to kill the Grandpa. That's simply not what my Rise is for. I have a Calibus and my Grandpa to choose from, and I decide on Grandpa for the revenge kill. I'm worried that he now has access to his hold ability, Tornado, that has 1 higher priority than my Grandpa. If I can't outspeed his, mine will take more damage than I can take to win the match. I debate swapping in my Calibus at this point, because I'm wondering which Temtem will be more useful to me. I decide to keep in my Rise and fire everything I can at the Grandpa. You can see me pause to think about the speed tie here. The earlier Demoralize from my Rise cancels out the extra priority from his Grandpa's Tornado, but I'm still unsure who would win. I mispredict the target of his Grandpa and he fires his Tornado onto my Rise. Look at the pressure a single unanswered Grandpa can do. His Grandpa overexerts itself and dies. Now, my Grandpa is free to chunk his Rise and we've put ourselves back into this game. His Rise hits mine with the Sand Splatter and then he takes a moment to select his next Temtem. In comes Saku, a wind nature wall with decent move coverage. I know my Rise won't live here, but I take the opportunity to select Saku with my strongest technique, Fire Tornado. Looking back at this footage now, I should have tried harder to keep my Rise healthy so I could better check his Saku. As for my Grandpa, I debate using Tornado onto the Rise, but realize he won't outspeed me, so I use a lower stamina ability to preserve some health. My Grandpa is the fastest Tem on the field and it easily kills his Rise. I lose some health from overexerting myself. His Saku hits my Rise with Wind Burst and finally takes this tanky lion down. At this point, we're both down to our 2 last Tems. We both have a Calibus with full health and stamina. I have my Grandpa, but with no stamina remaining, my techniques are going to hurt myself almost as much as they'll hurt him. His Saku is basically full health and stamina. My Grandpa will do terribly against his Saku, so my priority is taking out his Calibus at any means. I decide to rip through my entire pool of health with the Tornado to kill his Calibus. I'm sweating here, praying it'll be enough to kill it. If the Calibus survives, even with just a little bit of health, I know I lost this game. After what feels like a lifetime, my Grandpa fires off a Tornado and takes out the Calibus. Oh my goodness. My Grandpa loses so much health from overexerting itself. Allergic Spread comes out from the Saku, doing some nice damage to Calibus and just enough to finish off my Grandpa. My Toxic Ink comes out and it does beautiful damage to the Saku. At this point, I know one more Toxic Ink is enough to kill his Saku. Okay, one more Toxic Ink will kill his Saku, but Saku is a Wind-type Temtem. Which means Saku has access to Tornado. Which means Tornado has a priority. Which means that will outspeed my Calibus. Is it enough to kill my Calibus though? My Calibus hits first? What? Does he not have Tornado? It's enough to kill Saku and we take game 1. I was a little too excited there. In between battles, we both decided to change out Temtem slightly. Vinny leads with Saku and Grandpa. It's no surprise that he chose these 2 Tems after their strong performance in game 1. Like I said before, I always start with my Rise. This time, I decide to bring Gazuma, a hard counter for the Grandpa because I can't leave Grandpa unchecked. I attempt a Chain Lightning on Grandpa and attempt an Ember on Saku. There's no doubt in my mind that he'll swap here. To my surprise, he stays in, focusing my Gazuma. My Gazuma easily tanks those hits. He was better off attacking the Rise with Tornado like last game. Great start to game 2 with both of his Tems at 55% health now. Turn 2. Let's try to kill the Grandpa or at least do damage to whatever swaps in. Because he decided to put damage on Gazuma instead of Rise, my Rise is able to stay out and I have no concerns of it dying. I hesitate to select Chain Lightning on my Gazuma because Electric Storm is clearly better in this case as it won't hurt my own Gazuma. I have to wonder why he doesn't Tornado my Rise's turn. Now his Grandpa is dead and a huge threat to my team has been eliminated. Saku decides to use Narcoleptic Hit, which means he's going to be sleeping this turn, giving me even more priority in turn 3. In comes his Nesla, and now I'm puzzled as to why he didn't swap this in a turn or two earlier. Nesla's trait, Electric Synthesis, heals Nessa when hit with an electric type technique. This could have saved his Grandpa and walled my Gazuma. I take a long time to decide what I want to do here. Nesla is going to scare my Rise off with a water move, so I predict this is a good time to swap in Calibus. I have nothing I really want to do on Gazuma, however, but I eventually make the choice to speed my team one stage. Keep in mind that I'm taking a gamble with this play. If he reads the swap correctly, my Calibus could be walking right into a stab electric move from the Nesla. As for my Gazuma, I feel that it's done its job. We fainted his Grandpa and he showed us that he's running a Nesla, so I doubt Gazuma will be needed any longer for, say, another water type. I get lucky and my Calibus comes in basically for free, only taking 8 damage from a water blade. My plan is to use Toxic Ink on his Nesla, which is super effective, but at this point I just want my Gazuma out of its misery for a better Tem. By having him out at this point, I feel like I'm just doing myself an injustice and allowing him to have a 2v1 on me. The Electric Storm goes out, killing my Gazuma and doing a lot of damage to my Calibus. His Saku has Allergic Spread, which triggers my Batonophobia on my Calibus. Fortunately, my Calibus lives, and his Nesla is going to die on the next turn via Poison. I have to decide on one of two choices here. I can bring out my Rise and slow his team, or I can bring out my Grandpa and outspeed his team for a revenge kill. I decide on Rise because it threatens his Saku as well. Out comes my Rise. Keep in mind that Saku's speed has been slowed once before. Nesla has now been slowed one time. My Calibus has been accelerated by Gazuma. In my mind, my Rise will kill Saku with Fire Tornado, then my Calibus will kill his Nesla with Toxic Ink. To my surprise, Nesla is fast enough to outspeed both of my Tems and hits my Rise with a physical water technique. It hurts, but it kills itself from exertion. Both of my abilities go off on the Saku and we make this a 3-1 battle. His last Temtem is a Cerneef. I know Cerneef isn't a pushover and I still have to take the battle seriously. Fortunately, our MVP Rise is still alive and we have our Grandpa alive too as a closer. I'm going to speed up the rest of this battle considering our large lead. I want to take this time to remind you that the purpose of these alpha battle videos isn't to pretend I'm good at this game. I want to showcase the current state of PvP and get you excited for Temtem's early access. Feel free to live vicariously through me to get your Temtem cravings satisfied. I end up winning the best of 3, but we decide on a third match for fun. At this point in the video, I'm going to leave you with the unedited footage. I have so many battles to show you from this stream, and I want to make sure I get to uploading them all. This is going to be the last time you hear my voice in this video, so I'm going to drop my outro right here. I hope you continue to enjoy my channel, and I'll be sure to continue to provide you with content you ask for. Check out the video description for links. Of course, stay positive, stay productive, peace out.